Look, and the reality is many of these people do not belong on our roads. Hell, they do not belong behind the wheel to begin with. Many of these people can't even speak proper English. So how can you trust them with a large commercial vehicle that they'll drive it safely when they can't even understand basic safety instructions and road signs? And you know that many of these schools are corrupt and all they care about is money. So what do you think is going to end up happening every single time? Hey everybody, it's PJ. I appreciate you being here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how the Alberta government is cracking down on the trucking industry and the so-called truckers who can barely read or speak English and are causing all kinds of accidents on our road, some of them even fatal. But before we start, do me a favor and hit the like button. If you can do that for me, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Let's get into the video. Okay, so let's quickly go to Twitter and take a look at some of the tweets having to do with the mess that these so-called truckers are causing in North American highways. So you can see here, this is from the Buck You Will. That thing that never happens with Indian truckers. September 5th, early morning accident involving an 18-wheeler just south of Yale in British Columbia. There's a huge problem with these truckers, and the whole industry needs to be investigated. And here you have another video, this one from Curious George. Only Indian truckers know how to flip their semi on perfectly clear roads. This one even had his safety flip-flops on for extra security. Nobody is safe on the roads anymore. And here's the video. I'm going to mute it. Don't want any copyright issues. But you can see here a semi-truck fully flipped on the road. A complete mess. And then you see this guy, looks like he's wearing flip-flops, which is a terrible idea when you're driving any vehicle, let alone a freaking semi-truck. And it's the usual suspects, time and time again. This particular group of people just keep causing completely unnecessary accidents that if you had any semblance of common sense, like if you knew what you were doing for a change, it probably could have been avoided. And you can see the truck completely flipped on its side. Hopefully no one else got hurt. Okay, you got another tweet here. This one is from the Pleb. It says here, Punjabi truck driver in Canada pulls highly dangerous maneuver. These are Canada's highways now after the Liberals flooded our country with millions of newcomers. Behavior like this deserves automatic deportation. I'm beyond fed up. And that's a lot of Canadians. A lot of Canadians and Americans feel that way. But very few express it and say it. Look at that. You're totally not supposed to do that. Even a basic driver, just a basic non-commercial driver knows not to do that on a highway. And this guy's got a giant trailer that he's pulling, and he went and did that. And then it's like what happened in Florida, I believe, is where one of them was doing exactly that, and a van crashed onto their trailer, and all the occupants of that vehicle unfortunately lost their lives. And then the driver comes out and he looks like nothing happened. He looks completely unaffected by the consequences of what he just did. Here's this video from Bonehead Trucker. Blocking scales is not cool, especially if you're an Indian, I guess is what he says there. And here's the video.
Parked in front of the scale, got all these empty spots. So many empty spots, and you park in front of the scale. You got all these parking spots to go park in, and you block the scale.
Register working, that's why too late. You have working for register.
You got all that parking.
Yeah, I just
And you blocked the scale.
Sorry, guys.
Come on, man, I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes, dude. Missing.
So apparently this guy, there are all kinds of empty spots in the parking lot. and he decided to park right in front of the scale, blocking out every other trucker who wanted to use the scale. Then he says, "Oh, just 10 minutes. Why don't you just park in an empty spot where you're not obstructing other drivers to begin with?" So this is happening over and over again. It's happening in Canada, it's happening in the United States, and it looks like Alberta has finally had enough. The government of Alberta recently decided to start cracking down on these schools, these so-called schools and training academies that are graduating these unsafe drivers, to say the least. Here's a tweet from Alberta Minister of Transportation, Devin Dressen, where he says, quote, "Unsafe truck drivers have no place on Alberta roads. We've shut down fraudulent driving schools, removed bad trucking companies, and strengthened training standards, all to protect families and rebuild trust in our trucking industry." And boy, do they ever need to rebuild trust. Trust is lost when it comes to truckers. When I'm driving on the highway, and I'm a transport guy, I drive for a living as well. When I'm driving on the highway, I try to stay as far away from those people as possible. I try to stay away as far away as possible because there have been so many accidents, and so many of them are completely avoidable. You can tell that if the guy just knew basic driver training, if the guy just took basic driver training, basic safety training when it comes to driving a commercial vehicle, those accidents could have been avoided. So here we have a video from the report where the government of Alberta has started cracking down and going after the unlawful schools that are giving these people licenses here in Alberta. Let's check it out.
The province is intervening on dangerous commercial truck driving practices after Transportation Minister Devin Dreesen said a series of investigations, inspections, and audits over the past 6 months uncovered fraudulent behavior in the industry. Now the government says they've shut down 5 of the schools so far, revoked the licenses from 12 instructors, issued dozens of warnings, and levied more than $100,000 in fines. 13 commercial trucking companies have also been removed from Alberta's roads due to poor on-road performance, unsafe equipment, or failure to meet mandatory safety standards.
I mean, at some point you got to say enough is enough. And I'm glad to see Alberta is the jurisdiction saying enough is enough. There have been way too many accidents, and it is clear that there is a problem. There is a corruption problem. There is a lack of training problem. Again, a lot of these schools, all they care about is the money. They don't, what should take hours and hours of training, maybe days of training, a lot of these so-called truckers, a lot of these new drivers are getting in a couple of hours. I'm happy to see that the Alberta government is cracking down on this. If you have any comments or anything you'd like to share, leave it in the comment section below. I try to read as many comments as possible and reply to as many of them as I can. Hey, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to be notified every time a new video is published, hit the subscribe button and activate the notifications bell. It's completely free and it helps our channel grow. A heartfelt thank you to all our channel members. I really appreciate your support. See you all in the next one. Peace.